So, if you're in a data role, you need to know this. Your work is always sending hidden signals. It's not just about getting the right answer. It's about the story your process tells about you. Let's break down what that story is, and, more importantly, how to make sure it's the right one.
Okay, think about it. You've built a pipeline, your SQL query runs perfectly, the dashboard looks amazing, it works. But have you ever stopped to ask what that work is really saying about you as a professional? That question, right there, can make or break your next big opportunity.
Because here's the inside scoop. Assessors, managers, your senior colleagues, they're all trained to look past the correct output. They're hunting for clues about your competence, your trustworthiness, and your professional maturity. In this explainer, we're going to shine a light on those exact red flags so you can sidestep them and show them what they really want to see.
All right, first up, let's talk about showing real, tangible work. This is all about closing that gap between knowing the theory and proving you can actually get stuff done.
And that brings us to red flag number 1, getting stuck in hypotheticals. This is when your portfolio or your project just talks about what you would do or what you could do instead of what you actually did. It's such a classic mistake, especially when you're being assessed.
And here's why it's such a big deal. To an assessor, it just looks like you're guessing. It kind of screams that you haven't really gotten your hands dirty with real tools on real problems. It makes them doubt if you can actually apply your knowledge, even if you know the theory backwards and forwards.
I mean, just look at the difference here. The first statement is so passive. It's about understanding a tool. The second one, it's active. It's about using it on a specific, real problem. That little shift from I could to I did is everything. It's the proof that you've moved from just guessing to actually doing.
Okay, let's dive into our next red flag. And it is a huge one in today's world, plagiarism and the overuse of AI. We're talking about grabbing code straight from Kaggle or just pasting a solution from ChatGPT without actually making it your own.
So what's the big deal? Well, it's all about how it looks. It looks like you're just taking shortcuts, and that immediately makes an assessor think, wait, is this their work or someone else's? They can't verify your skills, and poof, your credibility is gone.
And this is the trap so many people fall into, right? You copy, you paste, but then you get asked why it works and you can't explain the logic. That last step is where it all falls apart. You've totally missed the chance to prove you know your stuff and you just lose all credibility. But here's how you turn that all around and look like a genius. Use AI as a launchpad, a starting point. Then you adapt that code for your specific problem. And this is key, be totally ready to explain every single change you made. That doesn't look like a shortcut. That shows you're being resourceful and smart.
All right, our second area is completely non-negotiable in the data world, handling sensitive information. Getting this wrong isn't just a red flag, it's a massive risk. This is all about building trust.
Red flag number 3 is a huge one, and it's using internal, private, or confidential company data in an external portfolio or an assessment. This is an absolute 100% no-go. You just cannot share your company's private data with anyone outside, period.
And the reason is so simple. It immediately makes you look careless and untrustworthy. A manager is going to think, well, if they're this casual about sharing confidential info in an interview, how careless are they going to be with our customer data on the job? It's a giant professional red flag.
This really all boils down to understanding things like PII. That's personally identifiable information. We're talking about any data, a name, an email, even an IP address that can be traced back to a specific person. And mishandling this isn't just bad practice. It can get you and your employer into massive legal and financial trouble under laws like GDPR.
So the takeaway here is super simple. Live in the right-hand column. Anything that's internal, private, or has PII is completely off limits. Your best friend should always be public, open, or properly anonymized datasets.
Okay, finally, let's get into the more subtle signals of professionalism. These are the things that show up in your standards and in your mindset. These red flags are less about one big mistake and more about your entire approach to your work.
So red flag number 4 is really a collection of bad technical habits. These are the kinds of things that might let your code run, sure, but to a pro, they just scream that you're not ready for real-world data pipelines. I mean, just look at this list. If you're overwriting data, you're destroying the audit trail. Gone. If you hard-code a password into a script, that is a massive security risk. These aren't just little whoopsies. In a real job, these things break systems, cause data loss, and can expose your company to some really serious trouble.
And for our final red flag, honestly, it's all about attitude. It's that moment when you're asked to show a skill, let's say using Python, and your go-to response is, "Oh, I don't use that in my current role." You see, to an assessor, that doesn't sound like a good reason. It just sounds like an excuse. It comes across like you're unwilling to learn, or you won't stretch beyond your day-to-day tasks. It suggests a fixed mindset, not the growth mindset everyone is looking for. The difference is night and day, right? The weak response is a dead end. It just shuts the conversation down. But the strong response, that turns a potential weakness into a major strength. It shows you've got initiative, you're proactive, and you want to learn, exactly what a great manager wants to see.
So we have covered a lot of ground. Let's pull this all together and really look at the big picture here. The two different people that emerge from these habits. Are you the person showing red flags, or are you the one showing green flags?
Because ultimately, this is what it all comes down to. All those little red flags, they add up. They paint a picture of someone who's unprepared, risky, and unprofessional. But when you avoid them, you show the exact opposite. You come across as competent, credible, and ethical. You demonstrate that you are truly employable.
So, as we wrap this up, I'm going to leave you with this question to really think about. Your work is always telling a story about who you are as a professional. So, after everything we've talked about today, which story will your next project tell?